morning, Fox and Friends, Saturday. And this is something that I had said on Friday. They pick it up and repeat it.
Rush Limbaugh weighed in on this, and he said, look, maybe this fell through the cracks because the FBI is so focused on other things. Here's what Rush Limbaugh had to say about it.
Is it possible, ladies and gentlemen, that the FBI may not have the resources to deal with complaints like this? How many people the FBI are still trying to prove that Trump colluded with Russia? Hillary Clinton and the Democrats have the FBI so occupied tracking down something that didn't happen, they may not have the resources to pull this kid off the street. Right, so, and then it was the next day that Trump tweeted this. His famous tweet storm. They brought in, though, after this fight, they brought in Tim Clemente, who is a former FBI counterterrorism agent. And after this fight, they brought in Tim Clemente, who is a former FBI counterterrorism agent. And after the clip that you just heard, Griff Jenkins says, so, Mr. Clemente, what do you think of that?
I would say that Rush is one of the greatest communicators in the history of communication. And I think what he's saying is partially true. When you have guys like Peter Strzok, lawyers like Lisa Page, administrators like McCabe at the top of the FBI, very, very, very politically active and acting not like objective observers and investigators to try and find the truth. They weren't seeking the truth. They were looking for political things. They were looking for political flaws in their enemies, their political enemies, so they could go after them. And if you're doing that, you cannot be at the same time maintaining the security of the American people.
Now, that's interesting, is it not? Because the president tweeted it out on Sunday, and the media immediately thought that it was over the top and unrealistic, and they started making jokes about, you mean to tell me that the FBI field office agent, the special agent in charge of the office in Fort Lauderdale, is working on the Trump investigation? And they wanted to, again, portray Trump as just over the top and not really in touch with reality. That was not my point when I made the tweet. I'm just trying to illustrate things in different ways. I love using satire, parody, and humor to do it. And the truth of the matter is, the FBI can chew gum and walk at the same time. What happened down in Florida, the FBI not following up on this shooter, that's a whole different set of problems. And I'll tell you what I think the root of those problems are. A combination of multiculturalism, liberalism, and political correctness has led to government and a whole lot of people being afraid to act on anything that they might think is profiling or judging. We can't judge people anymore. You can't prejudge anybody, even the bad guys. It's discriminatory. It is bigoted. And if there's anything about them that strays from what we would call the norm, then you're really in trouble. Because then you're picking on a victim who's a member of a minority. And so it's because there have been so many assaults on people using political correctness and profiling that the safe thing to do is to not act and roll the dice. I mean, there has to be a reason the FBI didn't do anything with this. Beyond the fact that they're lazy. It's not that. It's not that they're lazy. And is it that they didn't take it seriously? Is it that they don't trust the tipsters? Is it they think the tipsters are a bunch of kooks? With so many people lying through their teeth every day on social media, with so much BS out there every day in the public domain, with the rising reality that our country has a growing population of kooks. You put all of that together, and what must the FBI think of all these? Now, in this case, 36 calls to the House. 2 different warnings to the FBI. There still has to be a reason that they didn't act on this. And it's not that they couldn't because of the Constitution. They could have survived. They could have done any number of things, but what prevented them? And again, if we're really interested in solving this, then we've got to ignore the knee-jerk reaction that happens after every one of these incidents. And the knee-jerk reaction is on full display. The knee-jerk reaction, first words out of anybody's mouth are either a combination of NRA and gun control or one or the other first. Which is why I made the point yesterday that the next shooter is out there. It's already out there. The next 2 or 3 shooters are already out there. They've already got their guns. They're already widely known by people who know them. Whether it's first-hand knowledge that whoever these next shooters are, wacko, kooks, deranged, or whatever, they're still known. We don't know when they're going to act, but they are. There's going to be another one of these, and then there's going to be one after that. And we never, ever do drill down to getting to the answer to it. We never, ever do really start talking about what would solve this. Because again, we are not being honest with ourselves about what is causing this.